thank you and welcome to the show for today. I am host Alana McLaughlin. You are watching Perspectives. This morning on the show I have Mr. David Hiland, master barber, here to discuss the art of the cut. He's here to discuss his background, his education, his experiences here in Nashville, Tennessee, and ultimately the impact that he and his family seek to leave on local Tennessee communities. Mr. Hiland, thank you for joining me this morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Thank you. And I want to start off this first segment talking about those baby David years. Tell me where you're from and kind of what those early adolescent years look like.
All right. So I was born in Woodbine, South Nashville. Raised there till I was in the 5th grade. From there, my mother got custody of me and my brother, and we moved to East Nashville. I attended Dalewood, Lytton, Hunters Lane, and Stratford. Graduated Stratford High School in '93. But growing up, it was tough. Living in South Nashville, the house that we lived in was not the best. I mean, maybe the worst. Thousands of roaches, hundreds of rats. I mean, just a deplorable condition. Thank God for my mother and my stepfather who got custody of me and my brother, and we moved to a better situation in East Nashville. And when I got to East Nashville, it was just a whole nother environment, a whole nother set of friends.
Yes,
and we developed our personalities, there it is.
And tell me about developing that personality. I want to talk about any hobbies or anything that you were interested in, kind of in that high school, that early teenage stage.
Well, going to just being in East Nashville at that time, East Nashville was not East Nashville that it is today. The school that I went to was predominantly a black school.
Yes, sir.
And I developed a love for hip hop. And we would listen to 91.1 WRVU, the Vanderbilt radio station, and we would just soak it in. That's when rap music was new, per se, and just soaked it up and developed the culture of hip hop. Moving forward, you go from Dalewood, you go to Lytton, and Lytton Middle School then was it was a combination of all kinds of different areas. You had the Settle Court area, you had the South Englewood, the Englewood, all kinds of different areas. It was a melting pot. But it was fun, and you develop relationships with everybody, and from there, I got into wrestling, I got into skateboarding, and just from there we grew. We went to, my mother ended up getting sick.
Yes, sir.
I do remember that. She developed a condition called peritonitis. She was in Memorial Hospital for a long time, and we ended up moving to Madison. And in Madison, that first year I went to Hunters Lane my freshman year, and I met a whole nother set of friends, right? So now I'm building off of relationships from South Nashville, from East Nashville to, the Madison, Belshire, Hermitage, just everybody. And we only stayed there a year.
Yes, sir.
And then we moved back to East Nashville to where I attended Stratford. And then, the sky's the limit after that. It was just,
And kind of wrapping this first segment, tell me about that Stratford experience, some of the things that shaped you throughout that point, and I want this to kind of lead into that early life, that early barbering experience.
Right. So Stratford High School was there. It was one of those deals, especially during that era. You didn't know what it was at school. You didn't know if you was going to fight that day. You didn't know if you was going to do your schoolwork that day. You didn't even know if you was going to go to school that day. But we made the best of it, and I wouldn't trade those times for nothing in the world. Some of the relationships that I have now come from Stratford, and I think we put out some great people, from Stratford High School. Not saying that any other high school didn't, but just being a little biased, Stratford, that our era was one of the best. And in my neighborhood, in the neighborhoods that I would play in, I would go to my friend's house. They, there was a barbershop, Mr. Reed's barbershop. Across the street from Mr. Reed was Mr. Winfrey, and so I would always look and be like, man, these guys are making money cutting hair, and and that would transcend later on down the line to when, you know, went to the military after school, blah, blah, blah. And I finally made a decision to go to barber school. So.
And in our second segment, we're going to pick back up on just getting out of the military, kind of making that decision and really kind of going like full throttle with it. And I encourage our viewers to tune into the second segment of Perspectives, where David and I will return to discuss the art of the cut, the Hiland family, and ultimately the impact that he seeks to leave on Nashville communities. Welcome to the second segment of the show for today. For viewers just tuning in, I am host Alana McLaughlin. You are watching Perspectives. This morning on the show, I have David Hiland here to discuss his background, his career, the impact that he seeks to leave on local Tennessee communities, and more. In our first segment, we set up Mr. Hiland's early childhood. We set up that early education. And in our second segment, we're going to talk about that early career beginning. We're going to talk about the transition from military into barber college. We're going to talk about the experiences that he's had and ultimately the impact that he seeks to leave through this ministry on Tennessee communities. And so, Mr. Hiland, we're coming right back in.
All right. While I was in the military, I joined the military after high school, and I was only in a year. My stepfather had developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer, and so I was released on a family hardship discharge to come home. And I got home in 95 and 97. My stepfather passed away. You know, it was tough. It was tough on our family. It was tough on my mom, who, you know, she was a local jewelry repair person, so she would go to the different pawn shops, and that's what she did all her life. She just, you know, worked in pawn shops, setting diamonds and fixing watches and clasps, you know, on your necklace or whatever. And so it was hard, you know, because if she didn't do that type of work, it's a trade, it's a skill set, right? So if she didn't do that, you don't eat. It's kind of like barbering. If you don't cut hair, you don't make money. It's just period. And so it was hard on her, and I developed a couple avenues to try to create some revenue to kind of help. Long story short, it wasn't the best route, but we made do. Unfortunately, it was 2001. My mother was 46, and she passed away. She had a stomach aneurysm, and she died. And that was like a slap in my face. I had just joined barber college about a month before, and I remember my mother saying, "Hey, look, you'll be a good barber. You're a people person. You know, you can do this." And that was the fuel to the fire to just catapult my career to where we are now. You know. And
take me through some of the experiences you had. And this is the Music City Barber College.
Well, I was a partner owner / owner.
Yes, sir.
In Music City Barber College. Yeah, but before that though. My first shop was on McGavick Pike, right beside Bailey and Cato's restaurant, called Off the Top Barber and Style. I ran that for a couple of years until we opened up another shop in Madison called Here We Are. And then from there, I went to Eastside Barbershop in East Nashville. From there, I moved to Atlanta. From there, I came back. I worked at PJ's Barbershop, Essence Barbershop. From there, I went back to Eastside Barbershop. From there, I went to Winfrey's Barbershop, where I should have been the very first time, because now I was around somebody who had the time, who had the experience, who had the wisdom to guide me and shape me into the community servant that a barber is supposed to be. And, you know, Mr. Winfrey taught me a lot. He taught me about patience. You know, he told me so many stories that just rang true. And from there, I think I started my career there. So even so, I did so much other stuff. It kind of started right there, as far as just being a mature person and a community servant such as a barber.
And with these experiences, I want to highlight that I think that it's amazing that you were able to come back and work for Winfrey's after having been able to see Reed's and Winfrey's and have that impact that it had on you. I think that that's beautiful. But I want to talk about just the experiences that you had throughout these different shops. I want you to tell me about learning people, about kind of learning the craft, the art of the cut. Tell me how you developed the kind of the personality that you have before Mr. Winfrey, but still these experiences.
So, going to the barber school that I went to, it's called International Barber College. I was under the tutelage of Mr. Tim Woodard. And Tim was an instructor that could cut all hair. It didn't matter, black, white, it didn't matter, he could cut hair. And that's what a lot of students that went there, we developed those same skill sets. And so I mean, it kept my chair busy. Matter of fact, that skill set was able to take me across state lines to go to other barbershops in other states and pick up a pair of clippers and shears and make money. When I first opened my first shop, I wanted that cool hip hop type barber. You know, wanted to go to school. I wanted to go to the shop fresh every day, new clothes, new shoes. I wanted to look the part of, but in all essence, you're getting hair on your clothes, right? So it's like, you know, you kind of need to develop into a uniform that you wear. You know, you need to, there's a lot more to barbering than just that cool guy that looks cool, right? Because you're trying to make money. You know, you're there, you know, 10 to 12 hours a day, and if you ain't cutting, you ain't making no money. And if you got a mortgage, if you got rent, you got bills to pay, it's hard to sit into a shop and not make no money, right? I had kids to feed, right? You know, my kids now, my daughter's 27, my son's 23. They're, you know, they're in the business. You know, they're in the hair industry, and they do very well for themselves. You know, but it's that grind of learning business. Some people cut hair. I tell people all the time, I'm not in the street with cutting hair as a hobby. I'm industry with cutting hair as a career. Yes, sir. Right, and there's a difference. A lot of people just cut hair. They're not running a business, and I try to make my business bankable. You know, I know exactly how much services come through our shop. You know, to the numbers, to the dollar. And that makes sense. You know, and so there's a lot to it. You know, in this business.
And I just want to highlight, to kind of wrap this second segment, I want to highlight both Davion and Destiny, your children. I've been able to have them both on this platform and been able to hear from them. And it is part of why I called you here this morning. I've been able to experience both of them, both as people and within their element, within the shop. And their poise, their demeanor, their class, and their level of respect for their customers to be so young. They're my age. We're all in our 20s. And it's a bit hard to come by people that are as young as us but still as seasoned as us. And I have to give you your flowers on that, because they both outwardly express that, like my father, watching my father, my mother and my father. But I was listening to my father. You once made a joke and said, they don't listen to me. And me and Destiny laugh about that to this day. We say, like, man, he doesn't know how much you've listened. In our second segment, or excuse me, in our final segment, we're going to come back and really just discuss the impact of those who have been able to listen to you, those who have been able to sit in your chair. I want to talk about your 2018 mayoral campaign.
and that has something to do with barbering.
And see,
you know, we'll touch on it.
And that's so cool. And ultimately, I just want to talk about ways that people can connect with and support you. And in our final segment, I encourage viewers to tune in to hear Mr. Hiland's story, to hear his background, his impact, and ultimately the mission behind the work that he does here in Nashville, Tennessee. To the final segment of the show for today. For viewers just tuning in, I am host Alana McLaughlin. You are watching Perspectives. This morning on the show, I have Mr. David Hiland here discussing his background, his education, the experiences and the impact that he has had in town and seeks to have in town. And ultimately, we're talking about ways that we can support him, we can support his family, and ultimately ways that we can support his work. In our first two segments, we talked about Mr. Hiland's just early life. We talked about some of the experiences he had at different barbershops, some of the notable barbers that he was able to work under and kind of study under. And in this final segment, we're talking about Mr. Hiland's current life. We're talking about some of the businesses that he operates in or operates with, and ultimately ways that we can support that. Mr. Hiland, we're jumping to 2018. Tell me about this mayoral campaign.
Well, 2018, Megan Berry had stepped down. Truthfully, I think that they should have put the interim mayor and just she should have. Let's back up. But 2018, there was an election. She stepped down. Simultaneously going on in the House and the Senate, there was House Bill 1809 and Senate Bill 2233.
Okay.
And that was for the deregulation of barber and cosmetology license. Those bills go through subcommittees, and they passed a couple of subcommittees. So steamrolling through the House and the Senate was a way to deregulate the barber and cosmetology license.
Wow.
working at Winfrey's Barbershop, Mr. Winfrey was a councilman in District 5 for a number of years, and I've seen a lot of people come there that wanted to, wanted his support to, for their campaign. And I was like, man, this ain't a bad deal. A councilman position. That's not that bad. That seems like something I'd want to do. But I had a friend call me and he says, man, you should throw your name in the hat for mayor. And I was just like, really? He's like, yeah, dude, you should do it. And I was just like, okay. And so I thought about it, and then I met a state representative who the House Bill 1809 had not came through his subcommittee just yet. See, this kind of tells you about politics, right? And that bill had not came through a subcommittee yet, and we had some conversation, and it was like, hey man, I'm not in support of that bill, but my friend, they're looking for somebody that wants the election, they want to uphold the election date for 2018 to be within the next 30 to 45 days versus 6 months, to where the vote, they're trying to stretch it out because Megan Barry has stepped down. And I was just like, no, I think it needs to be 30, 45 days. That makes it a ground game, right? Versus, somebody having the power to build up a lot of, money to just
ads and
exactly. And so we linked up. The bill got killed, and I ran for mayor. So long story short, a lot of people don't know that. You see what I'm saying? But the bill got killed, and I ran for mayor. And when I ran for mayor, I learned a lot about networking and a lot about relationships in this city.
Yes, sir.
Right? This city is a tight-knit city. Whether you know it or not, it's a tight-knit city.
Yes, sir.
And the movers and shakers are on Capitol Hill and amongst downtown Nashville.
Yeah,
for sure.
And they stay. They're gatekeepers almost. They kind of have their cliques that they move in because that's the safe way,
Never did I think that I would win the seat of being a mayor, right? But I wanted to show people in my community and my son and my daughter and everybody, look, if I can come from where I come from and run for mayor, then anybody can do it. Anybody can, there's anything, you can do anything,
yes, sir.
right? As long as you have faith and you have the confidence that you can,
Yes, sir.
And I did beat all the independents out. So,
That's so cool.
and I ran a campaign straight from the barbershop. I had a barbershop in Green Hills at the time, and the guys that I worked with, man, they were some impeccable people at the time, and we all had fun. We all had fun. Business is business, and I don't have that shop anymore. But I developed a lot of relationships from that shop that are clients of mine now. And it's all been good. So.
And now take me to 2020, the establishment of Shop Hands Barbershop.
Well, before Shop Hands, I had a barber college. We had Music City Barber College, and from there, it was the Green Hill Shop, and then from there, me and my son opened up Shop Hands. And right now in Hendersonville, we have a very, very, very good barbershop. It's very diverse. We service all people, all types of haircuts, family-oriented shop. I mean, it's one of the best places to go get your haircut. And I'm being biased, but at the same time, I'm just saying it is what it is. We put out a good product when it comes to haircuts, no matter the haircut. And I've got good relationships with other business owners in the town, and it's just a great place.
And Mr. Hiland, in my research of you, I was able to spend time at Shop Hands. I've been working on this for about 10 weeks, actually. So I've been down there quite a bit. And I've talked to your clients, and I've just talked to people who are coming in, and I say, hey, how did you hear about Shop Hands? How do you know Hiland? Do you know Destiny? Do you know, so on and so forth? And everyone just says, it just feels good in here. I always feel good. I might be having a bad day. My kids might be acting up. My girlfriend might not be talking to me, but I come in here, and I feel good. I heard about 4 different people, both male and female, say that. And so I started asking, I'm like, what makes you feel good? David talks to me. David believes in me. David speaks life over me. David accepts me the way that I come. And I'm saying, my God, I'm like, all this is happening in the barber chair?
Well, when somebody comes to spend their money in your establishment, that says a lot.
Yes, sir.
There's thousands of barbershops. You can go spend your money anywhere, right? So I take pride into a customer coming through our doors wanting to spend their money with either me or one of my colleagues or something. You know, they're here, and I tell my guys, say, look, let's take pride in the people that walk through the door. Let's greet them before they get past the mat, right? Before they get past the doormat, let's make sure they know that we've recognized them. Now, have we messed up and not recognized somebody? Oh yeah, for sure. We've had people sit there that we thought were appointments for somebody else, and they're just a walk-in, and they've been sitting there for 20 minutes. We're like, I was like, sorry, bro, I didn't know, but. You know, but we make it up to them.
And I was going to say that customer service, too. Everyone is like going crazy in an effort to make you feel good. I'm sorry. Can I do this? Can I take care of this? Can I offer you this? And me, I'm just like the average consumer, the average customer. But I look at that and say, oh, my goodness, I don't even need any of these accommodations. But it's just wonderful to be around good people. And I want to talk about just that impact that you've had on the community. I want to talk about the future. Anything that you'd like to share or any plans?
Man, yeah, I mean, today I've put together a letter of intent to open up another barber school. I'm not sure if that's going to take place or not, but I did sign a letter of intent on a space today. But just, you know, barbering is my life, and so I'm just doubling down on scaling our business, maybe using the profits of the revenue from the shop to take care of some other endeavors, you know, such as real estate or something like that. I don't need a lot these days.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Like I'm 49 years old. I've seen a lot. I've had my share of fun, and it's like I just want to live comfortably. My younger son plays baseball. My youngest daughter, you know, I want to be in her life.
And she's doing nails, isn't she?
She's doing nails. Right. And so I want to be in her life. You know, my oldest daughter, my oldest son, you know, they're with me every step of the way. And that's it. You know, I've kind of broke life down to the simplistic form of just what makes me happy, and that's what brings value to me.
Yes, sir.
You know, so.
And I believe that your happiness, it seeps through them. Seriously, I'm not just saying that because these are my friends, but seriously, I'm able to watch them just be people when they don't know I'm watching or whenever I'm not around. And I'm proud to know the Hilands.
Well,
I'm proud to know you. I'm proud to sit and shop hands. I keep telling David, I don't want a buzz cut. And he's like, no, you don't. I'm like, yes, I do. But in all seriousness, it is a shop like no other. I can speak for both the clients that have come through, just regular everyday people who just need maybe to talk to somebody, need a shoulder. It is seriously one of a kind. And with that, I want you to end this segment by telling people the address, ways that they can contact you, and ultimately ways that David can be supported.
Perfect. I want to say something real quick.
Yes, sir.
The journey has not just been solely on my own. I've had a lot of help.
Yes, sir.
I've had a lot of help. There's been people that I've had to lean on, and there's people I've had to call on that have came through to help me get to the next level.
And
right?
Mr. Hiland, I have to thank you for sharing this, for sharing your time with me. And I know that you're out in Hendersonville on East Main Street, and I know that you're shop hands, and I want to encourage our viewers to keep in touch with the Hiland family, and I wish them a good morning.